Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So have you ever purchased a vehicle and you felt very confident when tackling the repair, only to find the situation that it spiraled completely left, completely out of your control? Well, I'm going to share with you an interesting case study where I guided a client through a potential mess where I got him to return his previous tools because they were inadequate for the procedure. Then I aligned him with the right tool, and then I was helping him address not one issue, but there was another underlying issue that we also solved on a budget. Okay, so let's dive into these challenges together and explore how I systematically help my client get his car back on the road. Okay, so today's presentation is titled Complete Guide to Programming a Used EIS and Virginizing an ISM module in a 2014 Mercedes-Benz E350 with the IM508. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Curtis Harden. I am an independent Autel diagnostic consultant. What I do is align people with the right tool, and then I'll give them the one-on-one training and support that you see in this presentation. So if you want to get on the right track, head on over to auteltech.co.za and book the diagnostic tool consultation. Now, by the time you watch this presentation, you're going to learn the following. You're going to see which tools we use to do this specific procedure on this vehicle. You're going to learn important terms and definitions that are essential to this procedure. You're going to master the steps of accurately programming a used EIS. And then you're going to understand the process of troubleshooting and the right approach when correcting programming errors. And then you're going to learn how to virginize an ISM module and configure it with the IM508. The tools that we use are as follows: the IM508, the XP400, the Gbox 3, and the APB102, and also your aftermarket BE key. Now, to give you a bit of background, the client purchased a 2014 Mercedes-Benz E350 at an auction for her sister-in-law, only to encounter challenges with the car's ignition and starter system. And after buying the diagnostic tools that lacked the necessary functions, he inadvertently bricked the ISM while trying to fix the EIS error. This resulted in the car failing to start and the shifter being stuck, and that's when he contacted me for a cost-effective tool strategy and training to resolve these critical issues. Okay? Now, before we begin, if you're new to Mercedes, here are some definitions and terminology that you need to get accustomed to. So first is the EIS. It's an electronic module that manages the authorization process to start the vehicle. The EIS reads the data from the key or key fob when inserted or brought close to the switch, confirming if the correct key is present before allowing the engine to start. Next definition is the ISM module, which is the Intelligent Servo Module. So the ISM is essential for managing gear shifts through the direct select system. The direct select system is just their fancy way of gear selection technology. Okay, it reads signals from the internal sensors to control the position of the gear selectors accurately. And then next we have key password. So this is a unique password used to authorize creation or programming of vehicle keys within the IES. This password is essential for ensuring that only authorized keys are able to access and start the vehicle. And lastly, we have teach in selector range sensor. So this is a special function that refers to the process of configuring the selection range sensor within a vehicle's transmission system. This sensor detects the position of the gear selector, such as the park, the reverse, the neutral, and the drive, and communicates this position to the transmission control module. All right, so let's do step number one, which is to read and save the original EIS data. Now, we started off on the vehicle. You can do this on the bench, but we started off on the vehicle to gather this information. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and identify the vehicle. All right, we're going to go to select the year, make, and model. It's an E-Class, 2010, 2013. All right, we have confirmation there. All right, we're going to go to control unit. All right, and after we go to control unit, we're going to go to, I think it was read EIS tools, and then read EIS. All right, and then we're going to do this on the vehicle. We're going to go to W, auto scan to see which EIS it is, and it's a W212. And once we have that, we're going to click OK. All right, and you can see here, this is all the data of the original EIS. You can see it's personalized, it's activated. It has all the key slots and its statuses here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save this. We're going to click yes. And once we click yes, we're going to get a confirmation of the file path. All right, so keep note of that because we're going to need this later, 73100. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click escape. And this is going to take us to our main menu, because our next step that we have to do is number 2 is retrieve the key password through the add key function. Okay, now the reason why we're going to use the add key function to do this is because that sequence will allow us to extract the secret key, that key. Okay, we're not going to use it to register the key. Okay, so I'm going to go to escape, and I'm going to go to add key, and I'm going to do this on the bench. We move to the bench. Okay, and it's a W212. So you can see here, here's the diagram of how we need to connect to this procedure. Okay, and we're going to follow all these steps. Mainly we just want to get to number 4. After that we can just, you know, disregard all the other information. Okay, so let's go ahead into it. We're going to read the EIS data, and what you're going to see here is a series of prompts. Please put the ignition key close to the programmer remote reception position and press any button of the key. Okay, so if this fails, if it can't be detected, just make adjustments, make sure you have the right key until you get the desired result. Okay, so you can see here we tried, and then once we got it right, let me go back. It says please insert the ignition key into the IR keyhole of the programmer and click OK. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, and then is this key a smart key? Yes, it is. And then we're going to get a summary. You can see there's 2 keys and it's a smart key, so we're going to go ahead and click OK. And it says please insert the blank key, the aftermarket key, into the IR keyhole on the XP400, and then we're going to go ahead and click OK. Once we do that, we're going to follow the next step, and let's see what it tells us here. Okay. Okay, so is there a key password? We don't have the password, and this is what we need. So we're going to click no, and it's going to take us to the sequence, the menu to obtain this key password. Okay, and once we get it, we're going to just take off and disregard all these other steps. Okay, so once we're ready, we're going to click begin on the lower right, and we're going to follow the prompts, which is insert the it may be required to remove the key. Insert the ignition key into the EIS and wait for 5 seconds. So we're going to take the master key, put it into the EIS that's on the bench. All right, we're going to wait for the countdown. All right, so we did our countdown, and then we're going to take out the key from the EIS, click OK. All right, and we're going to wait for its next set of instructions. Okay, and then once it has established the communication, insert the key into the EIS and wait for 2 seconds and then click OK. So go ahead and do that. And once you're done, you're going to click OK. All right. Now, please confirm whether the key can be turned to the on position. If not, please remove the key and try again. Okay. So go ahead and simulate that. Okay. Go ahead and simulate that if it can be turned to the on position. All right. If it can, you're going to go ahead and click OK. All right. After pulling out the ignition key, insert it into the IR keyhole in the XP400. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and do that. put it into the XP400. All right, and then once that's done, you're going to click OK. All right, and it's going to get the password. And this should take about 10 to 30 minutes. All right, so this is our password here. All right, but I take a picture of that because we're going to need it later. Okay, so once we got the password, we can disregard all the other instructions. Okay, like we just want to get out of here because we're not able to write the key yet. Okay, so we're going to click escape and we're going to go to the main menu, because now we're going to erase the donor EIS data using the generated secret key. Okay, so we're going to take the donor and we're going to erase that information on there. Okay, so we're going to go to EIS tools. All right, and then we're going to go to EIS replace. And then from here, we're going to go to erase the EIS on the bench G box. And then we're going to click, we're going to click there and we're going to identify our EIS, which is the W212. All right, so it's reading the EIS information, and then we're going to take that secret key that we extracted and we're going to pop it right in there. All right, so let's wait for him to do that. All right, so we have it in there. We're going to click OK. Do you want to obtain the erasure password? We're going to click yes. Okay, so this is an online process that you need Wi-Fi and an active subscription to do. And then once we do that, you get a prompt, succeeded. We're going to click OK. And then it's going to give us the key information. Okay, you can see here there was our key password. There's the eraser password. Okay, and if we scroll down a little bit more, you'll see that it's personalized and activated. Okay, now once we do this procedure, if it's successful, these are going to be at the no status. Okay, all right, and you can still see our key data there. So let's go ahead and click OK. Do you want to save the EIS data? Let's say yes. All right, so there's our path. Okay. All right, and then we're going to follow the instructions. So insert the IR key simulator, the APV 102, into the EIS, and if it's already inserted, take it out and put it back in. And if you get these errors, just keep on trying, keep on adjusting it until you get it right. Okay. So you're going to see we're going to get this error a couple of times, fail to erase it, try again. Insert the IR key simulator. We're going to keep on trying. All right. All right. So we're going to keep on doing it, and then usually the third time's a charm. As you can see right here. Succeeded in erasing the EIS. Do you want to read the EIS information? All right. Let's go ahead and read it. Let's see if it worked. And you can see here it did. It's no longer personalized and activated. So now it's able to accept any type of parameters we want to put in there. Okay. So now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and click OK. Click escape, because our next step is we have to write the data back into the EIS with a security authentication. Okay, so from here we're going to go right into the EIS. Okay, we're going to click that. All right, just it was lagging a bit here. EIS type is W212. Okay, and we are going to here's our EIS information. All right, and then from here we can click OK. All right, ensure that the OBD line is connected to the EIS while writing the data into the EIS. So let's click OK, and we're going to go ahead and select our file. Okay, so this is the incorrect file. It's this one right here, the 73100. So we're going to go ahead and click there. All right, click yes, and now we're going to put in this one right here. Okay. All right, and then we're going to put in the VIN. Got it? Okay. So, and keep in mind, take a picture of this as well, because you're gonna need it later. I'll show you where you're gonna need this second one. All right, so the VIN can be written once. Make sure it's correct. We're gonna click yes, it's fine. All right, and then you can see here, now it's personalized and activated. Okay, it's personalized and activated. So let's follow the prompts. Please insert the hierarchy simulator. Okay, we'll keep on doing that. Just follow the prompts. If it fails, just keep on trying it again, make little adjustments. All right, then we got succeeded in writing into the EIS. Do you want to read the EIS information? Let's see what we got here now. All right, so it is personalized. If I scroll down, it's not activated. Okay, so that's our next step. I'm going to go back to the main menu, and we have to activate the EIS. All right, so all we're going to do is click this button right here where it says activate EIS. It's going to ask us if we want to do it on the bench, which we do. I'm going to select our EIS type, and when we go, we're going to read the EIS information. All right, and then all we're going to do is click OK, and it's going to go ahead and activate it for us. And you get a prompt, succeeded in activating the EIS. Okay, now we have activated it. We can register the key, which is our next step. Okay, now you can do this on the bench, but for the sake of training, and I knew that we're going to do some procedures on the vehicle, I wanted my client to do this add key procedure on the vehicle, but you can do this on the bench, just like how we did earlier. Okay, so we're to the vehicle via OBD. We're going to identify everything here. All right, we have all the information. All right, we went to the EMO status scan. Okay, EMO status scan, and we're going to scan to make sure that all of our important immobilizer related modules have no faults. And then if you can see our menu here, we have report, add key, all keys lost. We're going to click the add key guided procedure. Okay, and when we click that, it's going to give us the menu that we did on the bench. It's exactly the same, just on here. And we're going to register this key. Okay, and the steps are exactly the same. All right, so right now, since we're on the OBD, it's connecting the XP400 or updating it. All right, detecting frequency. What does it say? Please put the original ignition key close to the programmer. Okay, and press any button on the key. All right, so if it can't do it, just try your best to follow the prompts. These instructions are very sensitive. All right, and once we get confirmation, we'll get this prompt. Please insert the ignition key into the IR keyhole into the programmer and click OK. All right, so we're going to put that into our XP400. All right, and it's communicating with the key. All right, and then it says, is the ignition a smart key? Yes. All right, so it gives us our status. Let's go ahead and click OK. All right, detecting key frequency. Please put the blank key close to the programmer remote and press any button on the key. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do that. If it's not picking it up, just keep on trying and make little tweaks until it does. So please insert the blank key into the R keyhole and press OK. All right. All right, the current key is detected to be the same key. So he might have used the master key. Maybe he got confused or something. Or maybe he had several other keys. But once you get the right key, is there a key password? Now, I want to pause here. Okay. In this procedure, you can click yes and insert the secret key that we generated. Okay. And then you'll be able to conduct the procedure. But again, as I said, for training purposes, I believe in you get better as you repeat the procedures over and over. So we're going to do it from scratch. Okay. So I click no, and then it's going to take us back to the password generation menu, and we're going to follow those prompts. Okay. All right, pull the ignition key out, insert the ignition key into the EIS and wait for 2 seconds. Please confirm where the key can be turned on. So you're gonna, turn it on. See if it can be turned on the vehicle. All right, after pulling out the ignition key, insert it into the IR keyhole programmer, the XP400. All right, getting password. All right, and you can see, let me see if I can pause it. Oh, shoot. Okay, that password, it's very quick. Okay, this password, if you go back, it's the same one. Okay, so it's the same password that we got before. So as I said before, you can prompt that in there. Okay, so now that we got the password, we're going to insert the ignition key into the EIS and wait 30 seconds, and we're going to follow all of these prompts because our goal is to register this key to this system. Okay, so we'll do the countdown. Generating key file. Please insert the blank key into the IR keyhole programmer and press OK. All right, so we're going to put the aftermarket key in there. Click OK. Detect the key addition complete. After pressing OK, check if the new key can be used normally. All right, so inserting the new key into the ES if the red indicator lamp goes off. All right, so we're going to just follow these prompts. Turn the ignition on and check if the vehicle can be started normal. Okay. So on normal occasions, the car would start, but in our occasion, the car still wouldn't start. All right. So we're back to square one. So I scanned the vehicle and I noticed that there's this fault on here, communication with the ISM, and I talked to the client. I said, okay, what happened? Okay, so as I said, he thought he had some type of ignition problem, and I guess this module, which it is correlated to the ignition. So he decided to program it in order to see if that could fix the problem. Okay, this is what I call rogue programming. So it's where you attempt a reprogramming procedure that was not, let's say, it's unauthorized. Meaning, when you program modules, especially on Mercedes, just imagine that you're in a courtroom and you have to prove to the judge why you programmed this module. If you just say I did it just to, see if something worked, you can get in trouble and you will get results like this. Okay, you always want to have some type of proof from the manufacturer or something why you need to program something in order to fix it. So we both concluded that we have a software issue. So we can't buy a tool to program it. Number one, I think that most of these modules is locked already. So he said, Kurt, how about we do the opposite and see if we can virginize it? And I said, you know what, we can do that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to renew this ISM module. So we're going to go on the bench and we're going to read and save the ISM data. Okay. So let's go to the email section. We're going to go to control unit and you're going to see here ISM tools. Okay. And then we're going to read the ISM data, and you can see this is our connection here. There's our G-box, DB15 cable, all right? And then once everything's connected, we'll click escape, and we're gonna go read the ISM data, okay? So let's go it's going to give us the information here. You can see it's personalized, it's activated. All right, it has the key one, the hashtags, all that information. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and click OK. Do you want to save the ISM data? We're going to click yes. And once we save it, all right, we just click save on the top. All right, save. All right, now we have our file path. All right, now our next step, we're going to erase the ISM data. All right, so to do this, you're going to see erase ISM. Has a Gbox been used? We're going to click yes. This function can only be performed on the bench. Please make sure everything is connected properly. Okay, so once we establish communication, you want to obtain the eraser password. We're going to click yes, connecting to the network. Okay, so make sure you have a valid subscription, good Wi-Fi when we're doing this. All right, succeeded in calculating the eraser password. We're going to click OK. All right, and then it's going to give us our information before it's erased. Okay, you can see it right there. All right, and then when we click OK, do you want to save the ISM data? We're going to click yes, and we're going to get the confirmation screen. All right, succeeded in erasing the ISM. Do you want to read the ISM information? Let's just confirm. We're going to click yes, and we should see everything right here. So it's no longer personalized, it's no longer activated. Okay, so once we do this procedure, what we have to do now is go to the vehicle to do the personalization via the OBD. You cannot do this procedure with the ISM on the bench. You have to do it on the vehicle. All right, so let me explain something too. We're going to do this procedure first, and then we're going to do this one second. Okay, if you attempt to do this one, it's going to tell you that you need to do this one first before you can do that one. Okay, if that makes sense. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to personalize of ISM. This function can only be performed on the car. All right, we're going to let it do its thing. All right, and then personalization of ISM failed. Okay, it's okay, it's fine, relax. All right, we're going to go to the activate ISM. Okay, and when we go to the activate ISM, I think I have the wrong screen. Yeah, let me go act. It's the next slide, you guys. Sorry. Activate ISM. Okay, so activate ISM. We're going to click activate ISM. All right, and then when we click activate ISM, you'll get a prompt here. All right, succeeded in activating the ISM. All right, and we're reading the ECU information again. All right, and it's been personalized. So even though it failed, it went through. Okay, remember it said when you personalized it, it failed, it went through. If it didn't go through, we wouldn't have been able to activate it. Okay, all right, so all those two procedures is done on the vehicle. Okay, so we have renewed it. Let's put everything back together, and then we'll go scan for codes. Okay, so let's see what we got. We're going to do an auto scan, and this car had some underlying conditions, but the main thing I want to look at is the ECU, the TCM, and the ISM. I want to see if any of those have any serious faults. Okay, so as you can see so far, all right, we have one in the TCM. All right, none in the engine control unit. So let's see what the TCM says here. And we're gonna go to trouble codes. Okay, so we have a P2806 selection range sensor was not taught in. So this is configuration language, okay? So that's exactly what we need to do, okay? That's our next step. Teach in the selection range sensor. So to do this, we're going to click escape, and then we're going to go to special function, teach in process, okay? And then you see this right here where it says teach in the selection range sensor. We're going to click that. And then we're going to follow the sequence, okay? So ignition on, vehicle at standstill, actuate service brake until, and keep actuated. All right, so we're going to click continue, and we're going to monitor what the prompts tell us to do. So here, engage in reverse, okay? And I was getting feedback. He said it was moving in reverse, so that was a good sign. All right. And then it's going to tell us to probably engage in neutral, maybe? Yeah, neutral. Engage gear in neutral. We're going to do that. Engage in drive. The teach-in process was complete. Okay. So we're going to go back, scan the vehicle. All right. And let's see if that TCM error code has been erased, and you can see it was, okay? I can confirm, and he can confirm, that after this, the car started and the gears were shifting, okay? So, job well done. Now, summary. Pre-assessment check. Before starting any project, conduct a thorough assessment of the required skills and tools. A lot of people who have like what I call a high value vehicle, like a Mercedes and stuff, these aren't things you should be taking lightly. You need to know your approach, you need to know your skill sets, you need to know your limitations in terms of your expertise when tackling these things, okay? Component compatibility check. Always confirm that your tool supports the exact required procedures and that the replacement part matches the original exactly for successful installation. So when I consulted the client, I got his VIN number, I verified if we could do the EIS procedure, I verified if we could do the ISM virginization procedure. If you don't do that, like if you just try to get general information, right, and to make a decision when you have a car like that, you might be let down. So always try to see if you can match to see if your tool can do the procedure, and make sure your parts are exactly the same with the same year, make, and model, okay? Next, the ES replacement steps. So you're going to read and save the original data. We're going to retrieve the key password via the add key function, okay? We're going to erase the donor EIS data using the secret key. Number 4, we're going to write back the data, and then 5, we're going to activate the EIS, and then we're going to add the key, okay? The ISM module renewal steps is you're going to read and save the ISM data on the bench, okay? We're going to erase the ISM data. We're going to personalize it via the OBD and then activate the ISM, all right? And lastly, perform the teach-in for the selection range sensor, okay? So these skill sets, guys, are really, really critical to have, because it will allow you to expand your service deliverability, meaning instead of allowing people to just come in with their problems, if you have a set business like this, you can start to anticipate and have people send you these modules. And you know, it's a better business model to have when you have these type of skill sets. I have guys who just do this on eBay. They will, you know, buy these modules, put them up on eBay, and let people purchase them. And they'll tell them, look, once you get them, you have to do whatever relearning procedures. But it's a very profitable thing to do, and we were able to do this all in one session. So I hope you guys learned a lot. But with that, comment, like, subscribe, and if you want to purchase your tool, go to auteltech.co.za. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.